Start. Hi guys, we have today with us Yadu Gopal, and first time I got the name right. So, and we are the beautiful campus of Ahmedabad. This is the green side of Ahmedabad. Other side is all concrete jungle. So, Yadu, the best part of this guy is that he got all the calls and he converted all the calls. So, starting with first mock, he got 20 percentile and then ended up with 99 plus percentile and getting to Ahmedabad. So this video is about your journey from X to Y journey, and so that we can motivate the students about how you planned. Fine. So tell us about your background first. Where are you from?
Okay, fine. I am from Kerala. I did my BTech in mechanical engineering from College of Engineering Trivandrum, and then I worked for 2 years with the corporate R&D of MRF Tires. And then I moved to MBA.
Then that bug bit you, no, I want to do my MBA. What was
actually the thing was that I had a lot of I had a lot of interaction with the marketing team, I would say, and then there was this part of advertising of like which really attracted me. So I was like, okay, how do I get to advertising? And I was like, okay, MBA is the route. Okay, fine, take MBA. And how do you take MBA? Try CAT. So I guess.
Wow.
I guess so.
Great. So as well. Okay, great. So he got all 20 IM calls. Out of them, he converted 19. 20th, he didn't went for the interview. Indore he went for that. Then converted SP Jain, converted XLRI. Boss, you converted everything. I met a guy in IM Bangalore. He also, whichever interview set for, he converted. And the one thing which I can find common between both of you is a smile. Always smiling and always confident about yourself. I think that worked for you as well.
Maybe it does work. I guess, you have a positive attitude when you're speaking to people, because that always helps out. And then knowing your stuff, what you're speaking about, again, is a critical parameter.
Great.
When I lost hope, or I would say when I started losing hope, was when my work pressure increased. So the problem is that when that happens, you can't cope up with both of it. So what I did was, I was religious in putting in the hours. So no matter what happened, I told myself that I have to put in the hours, and I started putting in the hours. There were times when it won't improve, the score won't improve a point. So what you can do at this time, at least what I think is, again, see what you are repeating. There will be some area which you are like repeatedly making mistake. So target that area and like attack that area, and it's bound to increase. That's what I think.
Great. So one thing which I can feel, the consistent pattern of preparation was you are persistent in one area.
Yes.
If the things are not going right, you'll make sure it go right.
Yes.
So that's one very good advice he gave me, that gave to all of us, is that if you don't try to focus on everyone. You can't improve everything together. So pick up one by one. Yeah. So after coming home, so you used to spend 4 hours every day to studies. What was your average breakup? Like 4 hours, may say how many hours in one area? Suppose I'm weak in maths.
Okay.
So what was your plan at that time?
Okay. Again, as I said, I'm weak in DILR. So what I did was, I used to spend like 2 hours in DILR and then 1 in quant and VARC. But then as time progressed, I had to switch this. You can't obviously so what happened towards the end at least was that I started giving 1 hour to quant, 1 hour to DILR, and 2 hours to VARC. And then finally, when I realized that quant is my strong spot, and then maybe I have chance of scoring very high in quant, I switched it. So I started giving 2 hours to quant and then 1 hour to VARC.
And that was at what time?
That was towards the very end, actually. Very end, because like if I think the idea is that if you have a very high score in one session, like let me take it, it's fine. But I guess that was something.
Okay, so here's a live example in front of us. The person who is getting 80 percentile 2 months before the exam can get into Ahmedabad with 99 percentile. Yes. So now if you're starting, suppose if you are giving advice to students, what advice would you give you? 2 months are left. First of all, obviously don't lose hope.
Yes, that's
motivation is the best, because people lose their hope.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's one thing, obviously. What extra you think they can actually practice that part?
Okay, one thing is, again, I repeatedly say this, be persistent, be consistent. You can't think that you will give 1 hour today or shift it to tomorrow, and you can't expect results out of it. The second thing is, give more mocks. So I think that is universal throughout. You would have heard it everywhere. And analyze it properly. So analyzing it and then going through what went wrong will help.
Okay, what do you mean analyzing?
For me, analyzing what is first, I'll just run through what went wrong, at least what questions I've made wrong, and there'll always be some questions which I will be like very confident in answering, and then it turned out wrong. So I'll be like, okay, what happened here? That will happen. And the topic wise, like some topics I'll always keep on making mistakes. I still remember I kept on making mistakes in percentages for some reason, and I like, okay, I'll just focus on percentages from now on. So I just focused on percentages, and that part also like kind of improved. So I guess for the last 2 months at least, you have to see where you're going wrong, and like try to bring down your error rate, or your accuracy has to be brought up.
Very good. Right. Great. Okay. So now if we talk about your mocks, so you gave around 20 mocks, and your target was 2 mocks every week.
Yeah.
And those are working. It's a very good way to do that as well. 2 mocks every day is a good strategy. Okay. So now if we talk about your converts now, so you converted all the calls you set for. So what was the thing which you think that everybody liked?
During the GDP.
GDP.
Okay. First thing, okay, be positive, be smiling during the interview. That is like
That I can see right now
that
as
is like that goes universally everywhere. Second thing is know what you're speaking. Don't be vague, I guess, and don't be have knowledge on what you're speaking, what are you going to, or what you're thinking of speaking. So for example, if you're putting in your hobby as something you're going to speak, have knowledge in that. Say, okay, I like photography, so I had to like brush up on who are like the most what you call famous photographers, what are their famous photos.
So you know the camera as well, need to know.
Yes, obviously, yes, they'll ask what camera you are using, and they were also cross questioning on things like technology is coming up, so how do you think this will change, so how do you think that will change. And again, for the Ahmedabad interview, they made me take a photo. So I guess yeah, that
Photo of himself?
no, he gave, okay, actually the prof gave me a phone, and there's this toffee thing that came, you know. So they asked me to take a photo. So I thought about it. I kept it in a different table. I like went down and I took a photo, and they were like very impressed with taking time out and doing that. So I guess that's something that worked in my favor. And again, I also write occasionally. So they are also asking like, who is your favorite writer, what genre you write, and they asked me to come up with a story right in the spot. So these are things which you have to be prepared for. So I guess yeah. For GDP that works.
So that's one good advice. So if you have a hobby, so you have to brush up on the hobby as well.
Yes.
And we were earlier talking as well that if you can carry all those things with you, for example, you're a cartoonist, so carry all the cartoons, all the collaterals you have made, so with you.
Yeah, for me it was like it is my IIM Calcutta interview where they asked, why didn't you put any of your photographs with the certificates? And I was like, okay, you can put the photos, why didn't you think of it? And they were like, I've seen people who are putting in photos, so why didn't you put it? So that's something I would suggest people to do. If you have something to show, then showcase it.
Show it.
Not just like, don't let it be just the certificates and all the achievements. I guess, yeah.
True. Okay. Now, when you were selecting, you got through all of them. So obviously, there was no question going to Lucknow when you are obviously converting Ahmedabad. But I'm assuming you might be having a second thought of going to C or B or A. Being a South Indian, obviously going toward your mummy might be very much happy if you go to Bangalore than coming to Ahmedabad. So what made you come to Ahmedabad?
Okay, the confession here is that I wanted to go to Bangalore, kind of. Like when I was preparing, I was like, okay, I have this consistent score throughout. So I thought Bangalore is my target. Bangalore, I'll get through Bangalore, just go for Bangalore. But when I converted to Ahmedabad, this is like, okay, fine, what will I do now? So I started taking advices from people. So people were, this thing was that people said that IMA has stood more like longer years than Bangalore, and so you'll have a rich alumni base. And second thing is, people were just randomly saying that A or B anytime. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll take it. So I guess, I guess it was like a combination of people's advices and a kind of spontaneity, which
Brilliant. Hopefully most of the students also have that kind of a choice to choose between A and B. So okay, now we'll start with your preparation. When you started the preparation, so obviously no one is born topper. You have to give mocks and improve yourself. So what was the first mock scores, if you remember, and how you felt?
Okay, fine. Yeah, for me it was that when I first took the mock, it was around 20%. And
20% of mock
overall score.
Oh.
And then
I had to stop it. 20% in the first mock,
and then
99%
and then I got a negative in DLR. I still remember that.
DLR negative mark. So those who think नहीं हो सकता, तुम्हारे सामने example है यार.
So I guess that works out. Like, don't get like it's my first mock. Like I can't expect anything. And I was like, I got a scale. Like to what extent I have to improve. So I guess that is kind of demotivating. But then when you look at the overall picture, when you take like 2-3 mocks, you see that there's like a significant jump in each mock. So it is like okay, that might work. And there might also be a point where you get stuck. Your score might not improve beyond a point. So that is where.
When that happened to you?
I guess that is around 70 to 80, that range. Yeah, that just got stopped.
And which month was that?
That again, I had like maybe 5 months to the exam.
Okay.
Sometime around that. It was not at all improving. Like 2-3 weeks, it just consistent at that score. So I was like,
That's why people leave.
yeah. So I was like, why is this happening? Because till now it was like linear, and then it just stopped. So what I did was I just like when you are analyzing again, this point I keep bringing up. See the areas which you are like consistently making mistakes. There will be areas which are consistently making mistakes. For me, it was percentages. So in QA, and then improve on that. So that actually brings the whole level to a whole score to a different level. So I guess yeah.
Okay, so now if I summarize your preparation strategy, so you gave a mock, you scored well on the DI, then you focus on DI.
Yeah.
So after coming back from office, study 2 hours DI, or if you're not working, spend 4-5 hours DI every day. You will see the scores improving in the next 1 week.
Yes.
Yeah, at least 2-3 mocks will start fixing in the score improving, and then you move to other area. So by the time you'll find some other area, weak area, and you'll improve that area. Brilliant. That's a very good strategy you can easily apply for. Okay, so now with 2 months remaining for the CAT exam, what advice would you like to give?
Okay, one thing is don't lose hope. It'll work out. It'll totally work out. Second thing is again this part of identifying your weak area and working on it is very critical, because if you keep on making the same mistake in the final exam, that doesn't make sense because you've made the same mistakes all. Second thing I would say is okay, be religious. Put in the time you want. It'll work out. Okay, also I guess when you're focusing a lot on the exam, also have a background or knowledge on what is going on around you, because finally if you clear the CAT, you have to face the interviews. So have that in the back of your head, because that also helps out finally.
Great. I would love to connect with you again at the interview phase. So maybe I don't know why, if possible, I would love you to, if you can come down to Bombay, so talk to the students, those who've got a call, because this I'm trying to have a residential program for those who got a IIM call. So if you can help us there, it'll be great. So we'll see that how they can happen. Okay, now talking about the last part, how CET helped you, how the YouTube channel helped you.
Yes, one thing, okay, I am a person who spends a lot of time on YouTube. So what I did was I started subscribing to like a lot of channels, and then whenever I open YouTube, it's like the entire recommendation is this related to CAT. So I'm like, okay, fine, like let me go back to studies. Why am I wasting my time here? Wow. And then one thing that I used to do is I'll see problems being solved in the thing while I'm coming back from work. I'll see shortcuts for doing something, like again while I'm coming back from. So these are times which you can utilize rather than simply spending it, because finally it pays off. Like hard work always pays off. So I guess yeah.
And YouTube is something you can do easily while working also, while traveling also, you can use that time. Great. See, that's why when I launched the online program, so I was in the train, I saw out of 10 people, 8 are using a phone.
Yes.
So, and with the data so cheap now, so it's very easy to watch the videos, see the